what's going on? It's Cuzzo. You tuned in to the station, the channel where I'm speaking the truth in love. Hopefully I can reach somebody, expose some darkness, shine some light, and have people walk in. It is, but get to the story at hand. So poking around on Twitter, didn't have to poke for too long. I see on my feed, I follow different news outlets, Revolt, um, you know, hip hop, urban entertainment. Revolt posted a story about William Virgil. He passed recently. Rest in paradise, Virgil. Uh, I pray you were in good standing. But Virgil passed. William Virgil passed, and William Virgil was a man who was convicted about 1988. Did 28 years of a 70-year sentence. He was exonerated of, and it was based on the false allegations, um, the false conviction, the false witness of officers who fabricated evidence against him, and the allegations were of rape and murder of, I believe, his wife, who was, I believe, a white woman. Um, she may have been a white woman. Need to double check that, but I will be posting an article, um, at least two articles from Revolt and I think Business Insider. So read this for yourself. Check it out for yourself. Um, what's going on here, because the officers, they were white, uh, you know, and he was framed for this crime, obviously. Uh, you know, why why do we have such a racial disparity? When it comes to our justice system, why is there why are there certain prejudices? When it comes to what shouldn't be done in our justice system. I'm gonna touch on more of that in a second, but I do want to say this: when it comes to the Virgil family, if you guys see this, stay persistent. You know, uh, the attorney for William Virgil, stay persistent. We need to get justice for this man and his family. I mean, 28 years. I mean, it's just funny because as he's in this case litigating, in a suit against Newport, Kentucky. And when it comes to dealing the proper justice speedily, which I believe could have been done or at least pursued with the vigor of somebody that actually cares, um, it wasn't. It was delayed. And let's be honest, justice delayed is justice denied. You need. So with that being said, um, whatever we can do as people to support that family through prayers, whether it's writing letters, to whatever judge presides over the case, whether it's writing letters to the attorney, encouraging them, writing letters to the family, encouraging them. You know what I'm saying? Do what you can. Do what you can. Loving your neighbor. Yeah, you love the people that live right next to you, but the love is not just limited to them. You know what I'm saying? So let's love our neighbors, encourage that family, and let's put the pressure on whoever presides over this case to make the right ruling. And this reminds me of the parable of the persistent widow, as well as the unrighteous judge. That widow kept going to him and saying, "Give me justice. Give me justice. I need it. I need it. I need it. I need it." And that unrighteous judge finally gave in, not because he was righteous, but simply because the widow was persistent. So how much more will the Most High answer our prayers? The cries of the righteous, they go into his ear, he hears them. It says in Psalm 18, I mean, he hears our cries, and he can even get angry, when he enters the battlefield. What I'm saying, the battle is his, and the Lord is a man of war, the Lord is his name. So let's take hope in this situation. I want to touch on two more things, basically, just about the justice system, and how I know this story is going to be spun by people who have this way of thinking, this line of thinking, when it comes to Black Lives Matter, critical race theory, and intersectionality. Why do I say intersectionality behind the critical race theory? Is because when it comes to CRT, you can't leave off the I. They're inextricably linked. Those mindsets are linked. Those causes are linked. If you look at who started, Black Lives Matter, there were three, I believe, black lesbians, the identity of ethnicity and, you know, honestly, degraded sexual liberation and thinking and the idea of sexual liberation, period, they are inextricably linked to critical race theory. And, that's why you add the intersectionality, and Black Lives Matter is tied up in that. Um, you know, it's not hard. It doesn't take a genius to see it. If you look at a lot of people that support Black Lives Matter, they're in that LGBTQ to IA plus whatever quadratic equation community. So, let's not be intellectually dishonest when it comes to these things that go hand in hand, and there's a reason for that. But yeah, the way these things are going to be spun by that community, by proponents of those organizations and communities, it's like, oh, that's why we need, you know, this done and that done, and whether it's reparations or changing laws in such an egregious way to where, there's no balance. You know, God hates unbalanced weights. Don't have the law, shifting this way and then shift it back this way. Like, if you're going to change a law, have it balanced to where it's fair and actually have equality. You know what I'm saying? It's stupid to try to fight for, equity amongst all people. All people do not have the same giftings. All people don't have the same time. All people are not the same height. Like, it's just, equity is not going to be the same across and leveled. Like, it's just not going to happen. But on the other side, as far as people who are more conservative in their thinking, we cannot be intellectually dishonest. And I say we, although I'm not a Republican, but I am conservative in, my thinking and ideologies and just biblical principles. We cannot be intellectually dishonest and say, oh, there is no racial disparity, there is no institutional racism, there is no prejudice against certain groups of people in the justice system. I mean, we just can't do that. We can't do that. We have to call a spade, and say what it is. And things should be done in a right way, with the right methodology, with the right intentions, because intentions and methods have to line up. You can have all the good intentions in the world, but we have all heard the saying time and time again, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. You got to have the right method with it. And you can have the right method and not even have the right intentions. So with that being said, the two have to go hand in hand. So we as people, if we really care about what's going on, we have to be honest with ourselves. We have to call a spade, and we have to be willing to say, like, hey, this is going on, but it can be changed. I mean, there have been plenty of amendments to the Constitution. When it comes to just leveling and balancing and expounding and building on the ideas that the founding fathers had, not doing away with them, but building on those ideas, to preserve this country for as long as possible. And even if the country cannot be preserved at this point, at least the idea of a society that is, civil, balanced, and not just civil and balanced to a secular or worldly or natural standard, but civil and balanced based on a biblical standard. You dig? So when it comes to, Black Lives Matter and CRT, although oppression has happened, you don't have to walk around and feel like you're oppressed. You know what I'm saying? It's too much technology. It's too many ways to learn as far as techniques. There's too many things that can be done to change somebody's life for the better. You can literally go from growing up in abject poverty in this country to being a millionaire within a generation, literally, in this country as it is now. You know what I'm saying? But these things, although it is true, we cannot just turn a blind eye to the injustice that happens in the system when it comes to people of color, people from certain backgrounds, and we just got to be honest about what it is. But you don't have to be a victim. You don't have to walk around oppressed. And if you're in Christ, you're more than a conqueror. So shalom and blessings. You did. Be easy.